The following is a presentation of TFNN. Trade what you see with Larry Pesavento. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. Now, Larry Pesavento.
Okay, looking good, Billy Ray. Feeling good, Lewis. I want to take just a moment here. Give me 1 second here so I can get these charts up. I've posted the chart of the DAX, of course, and also the FTSE. You can see they're in a nice wide trading range here. We're in a bit of a rally today, like we are in everything else. And I wanted to bring to your attention what I think is a very important chart. It comes from Chart Watchers over there at Stock Charts. And if we take a look at this, you'll be able to see the this is the SPX, and it's basically what it's showing is the sell in May and go away thing. If you remember last year, we started May, and you'll notice here that when we ended May, you know, it was up just a little bit, but it didn't work that year. But that's the case. But most of the time it does. It's better than 7 out of 10 times over a period of 100 years. So I think it's something to pay attention to. And that when we're seeing this pattern that we're seeing in the New York Stock Exchange Index that I've shown so many times, I'm almost embarrassed to put it up here. That's a 3 drive on a weekly basis. So it's very, very important to remember here. These markets can go a lot higher than we think they can go. Now, today on Bloomberg, we had Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger on today, and they were talking about the market, that they were looking at a red-hot economy here that was going to be really spectacular. And then they went on to say that they had moved to the largest cash position they've had in a long time. In other words, they're not in as much stock as they talked about, but they do have a large amount of cash on hand. My favorite comment was by Charlie Munger when he talked about Bitcoin. He thought Bitcoin was a stain on the society, and it is, basically trying to destroy everything in society, which means if you're going to interpret that, it means he doesn't know diddly squat about the Bitcoin and he's missed the move. That's how I interpret that. Now, you know, the fact that it's way over $1 trillion market, there's somebody must think it's value for some way, but he doesn't know. And I'm sure if you ask him a question, he doesn't know the difference between a coin and a blockchain. I'm sure he doesn't. But anyway, a coin and a token is what I was trying to say. All right. Now, I wanted to bring to your attention, we have to do a moment of silence here. We lost one of the greatest here on April the 18th. Wells Wilder passed away. He was famous for many things. This was one of his stop and reverse things. You'll notice that he was also a big fan of the ABCD pattern because he was a very strong student of the Gartley book, and he brought out the reverse point wave pattern, which was the T6 out of the Gartley book, and that was a very, very powerful pattern. And we're seeing, of course, in the a lot of these indices that we've posted before, but that doesn't mean they can't go up a lot higher, because they certainly can. What's interesting today is, as of yet, with all this strength we've had, up 350 points in the Dow Jones, the Russell Index has not been able to take out Friday's high, which I think that is relatively hard to believe. And when I mentioned yesterday when we were doing these videos I did them Saturday for Sunday, that, you know, the market looked like it wanted to go down, similar to what we were looking at in the Hang Seng Index in Hong Kong, which really broke. It broke about 2.5%. But, of course, we opened higher. But the Russell has still not taken out that high. And I said, if you're going to sell anything, sell the weakest. That's what you're supposed to be selling. Now, our guest today at the break is going to be David Paul of VectorVest. We haven't had David on for a while, but he's got some time this morning, and he's going to share with us some of his ideas of what he's looking at. All right, we've had a big move here in gold today. I want to just get this up here so you folks can see what we're looking at. As you know, those of you that on the 24/7, we had an order to buy the gold at the 382 level at the 1752. The low was 1754. We missed that, and what we've done now is we've taken out the highs of April. by just about $1. That's all. We've just gone higher than April by just $1, but that's the main thing. The reason why I felt very strongly about being long the gold over the weekend, we hadn't bought it, and I still had that order setting in there. But the reason why I was interested in the gold is if you took a look at the silver market. The silver market, I'll cover the, thanks a lot for rubbing it in, Marshall. I'll cover the Kentucky Derby in just a moment. You guys, I love you. All right, you can see, look what we've done here as far as taking out the April highs in the silver, folks. We've taken them out by easy 35 cents. What we do in gold, we took them out by $1. That's a little troubling to me. But that doesn't mean it's not going to do it at the end of the day. But anyway, you'll notice those two ABCD patterns. The corrections in both of those were almost exactly equal. And that's why it looks so bullish, because you'd been here for 6 days at that high level, at that 2580 level. And and the low Friday was 2580. The low today was 2585. And of course, we've ran a whole dollar an ounce in the silver, running up, quite a bit. I will look at the dollar in just a little bit, Ruby, but I wanted to cover a couple things that people have been asking me about, and that is, one is the Bitcoin. I want to bring this up here. This is from Kerry Szymanski. He's one of my very best students, all best, but he's the very best because he has his own company, Harmonic Trading, and you'll notice here, this is the chart for Bitcoin. As you can see, that does not look like a bearish chart to me, folks. Now, the problem that we have is when they asked Warren Buffett, about, and also Charlie Munger about this, they were talking about value. But let's take a second here to see what can happen during some of these times, folks. I'm going to put a picture up here that was shared by John Jameson. This is a picture by Jean-Michel Basquiat. It was 1982. It sold at auction for $1,500, and his wife was extremely angry with the man that bought it. 10 years later, he had a chance to sell it at auction for $25,000, and he did. 10 years later, they were at the same auction. This painting went for $65 million, and then 10 years later, it just sold for $110 million, from $1,500 to $110 million. This is like remember Gordon Gekko said, this is where the perception becomes reality. And if someone perceives that it's worth that, that's why these things go. So it's not your job to determine whether it's value or what the value is. Just look at the charts and see if people are buying it. If they think it, then the majority of people think it's going to go higher. It's probably going to go higher. So that's what I'm looking at. And folks, when I look at that, and John asked me to stare at it, and I did, and I said my 10-year-old, Sarah's 10-year-old grandson can do a better painting of that. And of course, John laughed and he said, yes, but he can't sell it for that kind of money. And that's probably true. But anyway, it's the amount of perception that is there of whether you're going to look at it. So that's pretty much it. Now, the question that I had today is, when are we going to buy the gold? I'm going to, I tried at the 1752. I missed it. I'm going to do my best to get in again, but it ain't today. I can promise you that. 877-927-6648. We'll be right back.
Markets can rise and fall like the tides. Subscribe to Basil Chapman's newsletter, The Opening Call, and you too can ride the wave. Basil Chapman is an authority in technical analysis. His Chapman Wave trading system has been helping traders identify trends and capitalize on momentum in the markets since 1984. TFNN invites you to test Basil's proprietary Chapman Wave trading methodology with a monthly subscription to the Opening Call newsletter for only $149. Your subscription to the Opening Call comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee, as well as daily market updates on key indexes, stocks, and commodities. Ride the wave! Sign up for the Opening Call risk-free today.
If you're not currently using the TAS Profile Scanner when looking at setting up your trading opportunities, then your arsenal is short a mighty weapon. The TAS Profile Scanner is a standalone piece of software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Headed by Steve Dahl, TAS understands that in today's technological world, the use of top-flight software applications and technical analysis expertise is essential to successful trading in today's market. You also gain access to the webinar that Steve Dahl and Tom O'Brien just hosted, The Best Way to Use the TAS Profile Scanner to Profit. This webinar archive is available for all subscribers immediately upon signing up. All new subscriptions also come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Start your subscription by visiting the front page of TFNN.com today, and you'll find the TAS Profile Scanner under the Services tab. Sign up today.
Hey there, I'm Andy Arbertine with Tiger Precious Metals and Stones. Whether you're looking to buy and sell precious metals or trying to find the perfect diamond ring, I'm here to help. I have over 15 years of experience with diamonds and precious metals. You can call me directly at 727-329-8245, and I will personally answer any questions you have and help you find exactly what you're looking for. I will be your personal concierge in the metal and stone business. Give me a call today, 727-329-8245.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Okay, folks, I wanted to talk just a little bit about the Kentucky Derby because, boy, do I have some good news for you. The horse that won that, with Medina Spirit, he won by about a length, I guess. But the interesting horse that I liked was Rock the World, and Rock the World did a fabulous job, folks. He did not finish last out of the 19 horses. He finished 18th, but that is good news, and let me tell you why. The horse that won the Kentucky Derby ran in the Santa Anita Derby, the same race that Rock the World ran in back in early April, and guess what? Rock the World beat him by 7 lengths. So the difference between the first Saturday in April and the first Saturday in May was 27 lengths. Now, this is good news, and let me tell you why. That means when the Preakness comes up in 2 weeks, Rock the World will not be 5-1. He will be closer to 9 or 10-1 because everybody says, well, this horse is finished. Well, $1 million horse has a bad day. Just like Medina Spirit had one back in early May, Rock the World had a bad one there. And so that's the way it goes. That's why you never want to bet more than $2, folks. That's the maximum bet at any one time. But I will like to mention one other thing. The race before the Kentucky Derby was run by the young man out of Gulfstream track that I watch so closely, Louis Saiz. Has got the highest ranking for jockeys winning. And what I usually do is I look to buy a ticket, and it happens every 4 or 5 months. But in that race, I believe it was the 10th race, a $1 superfecta. In other words, if you pick the horses 1, 2, 3, 4, finishing that way, out of the 10 horses that were in the race, that $1 superfecta paid $405,000, and that's what we call leverage. Anyway, we'll be ready in the Preakness. Not to fear, not to fear. We're going to have a winner eventually. The odds are in our favor, but as they say, sometimes the odds are not the probability of what we think. Okay, now let's take a quick look here at the U.S. dollar. We want to get this up here so that we can take a look at it. Here is the dollar. We had the big up move. You notice we stopped overnight. We went up a little bit higher, 91, and now we're trading around 9,100, I believe. Those of you that get the 24/7 things, I talked about that in the the video, the fact that, we were going to have a nice bounce in the euro, and all we did is we dropped about 1.5 points, in the euro. Now we've had a very, very light rally in the euro. It hasn't even made a 382. So there's still a lot of jockeying for position going on here in the U.S. dollar. But folks, this U.S. dollar has the potential to really, really melt down, because if these bonds do not hold up in this area of the 153 that we made 6 weeks ago, we're looking at the higher interest rates, and we're going to be looking at a U.S. dollar that is not going to look very good at all. The one thing we do know for sure is that stocks go up forever, and that's one of the things that we can rely on as we look at some of these things unfolding today. So let's move on to another one that we want to talk about here, and that is get this up here. I wanted to show you natural gas. This is a very interesting one here today, folks, because we've been here now for 4 days in a row at the 61% retracement, coming in at that 2.974. The high today was 2.974. The previous high was 2.981, and that is a very strong seasonal cycle that Shane Smolian had pointed out to us when he was on the show last week, that this is one of the stronger seasonals, is for the price of natural gas to start moving down into May, into the seasonal bottom, which comes in around late summer, early fall. So the key there is, as long as it does not get above 299, you have to consider yourself to be bearish the natural gas. And that's only because of the way that the market's set up to do that. So that's a couple of things that we're paying very, very close attention to as we look at that. Someone's asked a question, did I know Wells Wilder? I met him, I think, twice in the 30-some years that he's been around. He was an incredibly brilliant man. He was a good friend of what was his name? PQ Wall down in New Orleans. And those guys were really big into esoteric stuff. And about as close as I get to esoteria is looking at the new moon and the full moons, and that's the summation of what I looked at. But he did the Delta formation. The Delta program is what Wells Wilder was most famous for, and that was basically an 18-year nodal cycle phenomenon that worked pretty good for some people. I never could get it to work for me because I'm more short-term oriented. But I could see there was some value there, but I just didn't use it to that effect. Now, those of you that follow the grain markets, we are in a very interesting situation now in the grains. I wanted to give you the July soybean oil here over the last 5 days. You'll see here that we last night, while the market was limit up at 250 points, we were trading a beautiful butterfly pattern at the 1.27 expansion. And as you can see now, we're almost down to the 61% retracement. It's dropped just about 300 points, which is $1,800. That doesn't mean the weather market is over, folks. That just means there's a correction. Look what happened on the 27th to the 28th. It dropped from 63 all the way down to 58. It dropped 500 points. This one hasn't even dropped that much yet. So all this is a short-term butterfly top. And you can see it stayed there for several hours. And it was coming off limit all the time. So there were some people in there selling. The question is, are they going to be able to continue that selling as they go through and look at some of these other things that we're watching? If you have any questions for David, David Paul will be on soon. Vector Vest, 877-927-6648. Regarding the art, folks, we live, of course, 72 miles from the Mexican border, and some of the finest paintings you'll ever find in the world are down there. The Elvis paintings that are there, they come with a beautiful wooden frame, and they're on crushed velour. And the most amazing part of it is, as you walk past it, they have little glass eyes in it for Elvis, and those little eyes follow you as you walk across the moon. I mean, if those of you that have been here at the estate here in Tucson, you know I have 12 to 15 of those paintings all over the walls in various colors, and it's really a fantastic collection. Like Sotheby's wants me to put it up for auction, but there's no amount of money that can get me to get out of my Elvis formats and my wonderful paintings. Marshall's been there. He's seen all the paintings. No, folks, I'm not on medication. I'm just trying to have a little fun here. I wanted to to do one other thing. Here was the crude oil. We had a really nice trade going in crude, and this is where you get frustrated at. This is an hourly chart on crude. I sent this out long before it happened, actually. And when we went up and hit the exact number up there at 63.98, I said, this is where you want to get aggressive. And if we go below that 6,300 level, it could literally collapse. And what we did was we went down and we dropped $1,000 from that little Gartley there at the 382, and we went down below the 63 level by just a heartbeat. I mean, I'm talking 62.92. And believe me, folks, when we hit 62.92, if you blinked your eyes, the next trades that you saw were at 63.40 and 63.50. And boy, if that's not an indication that there were no stops there and a lot of demand, that was it. Anyway, we ended up with a really nice profit in it, and that's where we're standing. We'll be right back with David Paul of Vector Vest.
Hi, folks. This is Tom O'Brien. The printing presses are working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The U.S. deficit has risen 200% in 1 year with no end in sight. The markets are looking for an additional stimulus bill to get us through this once-in-a-generation pandemic. There is no free lunch, folks. The more stimulus dollars put into the marketplace, the less your dollar is worth each and every day. This is the time to protect yourself with a portion of your portfolio in the metal market. The Gold Report comes out each Monday morning. I bisect and dissect the dollar, silver, gold, the XAU, and the HUI. The Gold Report is a long-term hedge against the dilution of your buying power. The U.S. has put more than $6 trillion into the marketplace in the last 6 months, with more expected in the next few months. The market did and does need the stimulus, but it will have long-term implications on our buying power. The Gold Report comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Go to TFNN.com and order the Gold Report now. Protect your buying power. Order the Gold Report now.
You could be making money off the stock market. And if you're already making money off the stock market, you could be making a lot more. Check out TFNN and Tiger TV and get expert investing advice to give you the power to control your financial future. Go to TFNN.com and find the newsletter for you. Whether you're into trading gold, metals, futures, currencies, or options, you'll get advice and analysis to help you seriously get ahead. TFNN also features trading services with a 30-day money-back guarantee for new subscribers, as well as TFNN's Tiger Den trading room, trading software, and educational webinars for all trading levels. And make sure you check out Tiger TV for free on TFNN.com or TFNN's YouTube channel for live financial content from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern on market days. Stop watching on the sidelines while other people get rich and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartleys, ABCs, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, we're back, folks, and I wanted to take a moment here to talk about Apple. This is where we were coming in this morning. We were able to get a pretty strong rally. We got back to that 134.04 level, I believe, today so far. That was the original fib number, but it hit the 382 of the low that we made in late March. That was on Friday, and now we're bouncing a little bit we need to get, if it's going to make new highs, it's going to have to start picking up. But this has been taking very, very, very good news and not acting very badly. We're seeing the same thing with Amazon and a few others too, which is usually an indication that there may be something to this sell in May and go away level. So those are just some of the things that I'm watching to see how the market reacts to the news that's coming out to these levels. Right now, we have a technical problem. David is going to be tied up for just a little bit. Hopefully, we'll have him back just as soon as he gets things cleared up over there, and then we'll move on. Another question someone just asked in the Skype room here is about the cryptocurrencies. The only cryptocurrency I've ever looked at and was the ADA. That's Cardano. That's when it was 6 cents a share, and now it's $1.40. It's gone up 25 times, but that's nothing compared to some of these that just go crazy. I am not in the same corner that Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger is. I don't know anything about them, so I can't really say that they're worthless or a bubble or anything like that because I don't know. All I know, there's a lot of people in it looking at it. But if you read this week's newsletter, we go through the fact that this market has dropped more than 80% of the time over the past 12 years. It's done it 4 times. In other words, it's dropped 80%. And if you look at where we were back in 2018 in January, we were 20,000, and that's it. There is a head and shoulders pattern in the GDX. I do not see that. To me, the GDX is just heading lower. I don't really see that at all. I believe I don't have the GDX in the chart room for today, but I'm sure that it hasn't. But it's going to be really strong today, considering that we had this breakout in the gold market, and this breakout in the gold market has been less than spectacular so far. And I just want to be real careful in here, folks, because look at this gold. We took out the high of April by $1. I think we're trading around $17.94 right now. The high had been $17.99.5, but to just make it by half a buck now, if that thing would close below, drop down, say drop 10 or 15 bucks today and didn't go any higher than that, I would be a little suspect because silver shattered. Literally shattered those highs. That's a monster move here in silver. That's why we were so bullish on the silver, was because of the fact that the pullbacks that we had there. Look at those little red, lightning rods. You see the lightning bolts. You see the first lightning bolt is equal to the second lightning bolt, and that tells you that there's harmony in the market. And now we've exploded, and it gives you a price objective at least another 60, 70 cents higher in this. So let's pay attention to that. We'll be watching. I don't know what you're talking about here in the studio about YT chats. Do you see any NASDAQ futures? I don't see anything like that, but let me get the NASDAQ futures up here because it's also making, a big, what I think is a very big chart, triple top up in here. This is the weekly chart. And as you can see here where we've been, for so many times. I believe we made a new high today, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not absolutely sure, but that would be what we would call a marginal new high unless it explodes to the upside. Hey, and folks, it certainly can. Hey, if they can take a painting that's worth $1,500 and take it to 110 million, and they can take Bitcoin from $1 to 56,000 or 65,000. They can do anything they want, whoever they is, and I don't know who they is. I'm not even sure who that is. That's why, folks, I'm a technician. I've been through this so many times in my life, and everybody's fed me a story, just like you read in Reminiscences of a Stop Operator. Every time I've had this, read these, I have never. And I swear to you, on my sainted mother's grave, I have never gotten a piece of inside information that ever worked. And I'm talking 60 years, folks. That's 6 decades. I had not gotten one. Not one time. Even when I watched the Graduate in 1968, and the guy told Dustin Hoffman, plastics, I didn't even count that one. But anyway, that's just the, I don't know, maybe people shy away from me, forgiving me, but I've gotten so many tips. When I was at Drexel, there was almost a tip a day there. there was always, tipsters that were going out. So like in the book, Reminiscences of a Stock Operator, look for the tipster that is never wrong. In other words, he always gives a tip that never works. That is the most valuable because he's 100%. And that's the kind of tipster I've been involved with, is the 100% kind. Now, this isn't too much about the market, but it's Elliott Wave's examination of the mood situation that we have going on here. You'll see here that this is the structure of the Beatles. As you'll notice here, this is a picture of their basically their popularity and stuff. And you'll notice here that the final record was released around the same time that what his name, Paul isn't dead. It was what was his name? John Lennon was the one that died. They've got a mistake on this chart. Paul is not dead. Oh my gosh, who knows? Anyway, that's all related to that, and that's interesting information. But that you can't trade off of that, folks. And I try to keep the stuff as simple as possible. Folks, if you find something better than ABCD, call me because I'd like to see it. It doesn't work all the time, but my golly, it works most of the time. And when it does, you've really got something going for you. Just look at today. If you're trading a big weather market here in the soybean oil, the market's, oh, well, that was a rumor. Okay. By the way, Paul McCartney lives here. He has a home here. Well, he has quite a few of them, but his wife was from here. Her name was Linda Eastman, and she passed away here in Tucson of cancer, almost 30 years ago. Not quite 30 because I was still here. Anyway, but look at that ABCD. It's spot on. I mean, that you don't have to be a rocket science to figure that. You don't have to look at the weather markets. Just look at something like that, and that gives you the odds, what do you call the edge that you really need. So I hope that gives you an idea of how simple this thing really is. That's really what I'm looking at. I wanted to share one other chart that I think is interesting that was in the excuse me 1 second, folks. I want to get it up here. This is the because it's in the news all the time now, and that is this is the chart of the semiconductor index. You'll notice how much weaker it is to the S&P 500. This thing topped way back in April the 5th, and we've been going lower tops ever since. It looks like we're ready to break down. And the reason for that breakdown, a lot of it is because of AMD and also of Intel. So if you take a look here at Intel, look at this. This has had this big 3 drive to a top. We'll be right back when we finish talking about Intel.
Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
The technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Okay, folks, we're not going to be able to have David on. We'll have him on later this week. He's just swamped right now, given the fact that what these markets are doing. I posted the chart of the NASDAQ, and as you can see, not only did we not make new highs today, we didn't even take out the highs of Friday. That's not a good sign if you're in the NASDAQ. And, of course, if you were to look at the one that has been the weakest all along, we're going to post the next one, which is the Russell. And you'll get up and be able to see here that the Russell could not take out the previous day's highs as of yet. Now, most of this action, of course, has been in the S&P 500, and then also in the Dow Jones, those few stocks, the high-cap stocks that make the market high-price, not high-capped, high-price stocks of the Dow Jones that made that go up today over 350-some points. And at that point during the day at 350, the NASDAQ was down on the day. Boy, that was a real, as Basil always said, that's a bifurcated market because they're certainly doing different things. But the one that, if you're going to sell one, sell the weakest, and the weakest of that group, of course, would be the Russell. The NASDAQ is not for the faint of heart, folks. I don't recommend anybody trading that. That's the pork bellies of the complex. If you're well-heeled and you want to take some risks, then that's the one that will, when it opens the vault, it'll give you a great deal. But it also can shut the door on your finger, and you don't want to have that happen to you. That's another thing to pay very close attention to. One of the most important things you can do when you're trading, folks, is watch how the market reacts to news, because the news, if it's really, really bullish, like we've seen in Apple and we've seen in Amazon, if the market does not respond to that bullish news, that means that there's something that usually pretty wrong if you're looking at something like that. And let's just take a quick look here. Since we're watching Amazon, I wanted to bring this to your attention here, folks, because here is the, hold on one second right here. You'll see here that there's a strong probability, folks, that we've made a double top up here from September. That was back on, actually it was August the 28th, but we took that high out by a massive $3 at a price level of $3,550. The old high was $3,553. This high was $3,558 by 8 points on a $3,500 stock, and it immediately broke. As you can see, it's broken quite a bit. But the key to look at this is if you look at the bottom of the page, I put this in because I think it's pretty important. Look at the volume that happened on those 2 days, folks. We're talking almost record volume of 8 million shares being traded that day. That means that those people that bought those 2 days are sitting with a loss. That's what we call a potential exhausting gap. All right, now that's what we're paying attention to right there. Now the other one that looks very interesting, of course, is the Google, because that thing has been going up forever, and we've known this has defied gravity. But if you look here at the Google here, remember we had that big box in there, and I said watch for a gap out of that box. Well, I thought it would gap down out of that box, but it didn't. It gapped up. And as you can see, we went from 2150, we went all the way up to rallied another 350 points up to 2463. Each of those runs were very similar, so you got some symmetry in with that. So we're due for a market to correct a little bit more than normal because of the fact that it was up so much. But that doesn't mean it doesn't have to correct. I mean, we've seen these markets go much, much higher. Just think of that painting, folks. John Baptiste Bastier, $1,500 to $110 million. Shut the front door and raise the rent. That is what we call a big move in the annals of trading, I would think. Okay, now let's. One other question someone's asked me about is the hog market. Yes, I'm watching the hog market for a potential top. I don't think we're there yet, but we're getting very, very close. Let's just want to get this up here because if you can see this, we are getting pretty close to the 110 level in hogs. If one of you folks happen to have the price of the July hogs up right now, let me know if you can see the July hogs to see if we made that 110 level, and that will give us a pretty good chance of telling us where we are. And I'm not able to get that price right now to take a look at it, but we'll be watching that for sure. So let's keep our eyes on the prize here to see how we're handling this. Okay, as we speak here, I wanted to bring one other thing to your attention here about seasonalities. When you're doing a seasonality study, you need a minimum of 30 samples. That's true of any statistical thing you're going to be looking at. With this particular one, we have 110 samples that tells you that this sell in May and go away. The strongest seasonals that you have in the market is if you buy in November and sell in May, or sell in May and don't do anything until you buy in November. That'll beat anybody, Warren Buffett, just about anybody except the Bitcoin people. It's just an incredible statistic, folks, that you really need to pay attention to. And when the patterns line up, like we're looking at right now, I think it's very, very important. And when you're seeing them in a lot of different things, like the FTSE and the DAX, we're seeing those same expansionary patterns at those same levels. That's telling you something really big is happening. Now, whether it's going to happen today, tomorrow, next week, I don't know. All I can tell you is that that's usually how it works. Now, sometimes it doesn't work the way you think, but that's the way it looks to me. And I can tell you just from the news that I listen to now, there is so much complacency out there. And believe me, they'll get these Robin Hood people into this, and this is not going to be pretty, boys and girls. This is like the .com thing that we've seen before. There will never be another .com in my lifetime. You're going to see one, of course, in cryptocurrencies. Whether I make it to that finish line or not, I'm not sure. But that .com was a once-in-a-lifetime thing because, those things were doubling in price if someone called up inquiring about a sale or something. And they didn't have to make the sale. They just had to inquire about it. And then, of course, you saw what happened to that, 85% drop in the NASDAQ from 2000 to 2003. You don't want to go through something like that. Of course, you could say, oh, yes, but look what would have happened if you'd held on. It went from, 5,000 as the high to 14,000. Well, yeah, but if you want to sit with it for 8 years, that's up to you. That, to me, is a little bit more than my threshold for pain. So that's it. I want to bring this. We're coming up to the break here, the final break. But the key here for me today is if we break out to the upside here, this is the natural gas. I want to bring this up here because that's why I'm talking about the breakout. If we break above $3 in that natural gas, that is going to be a bullish breakout. That means it's breaking above the seasonals and it's getting ready to go a lot higher. So pay close attention to that one because we happen to have been watching it very closely. We think that was a sale up there at 297. We're trading around 294 right now. And it's not much of a lead, but $300 is better than nothing. So keep an eye on that. By the way, I'm doing my very best to get these charts out to you and the videos out to you just as soon as I can. It's not ready yet, but I'm going to have it done this week. I'm going to try to promise you that. It's all set up. All I've got to do is figure out how to do all the little calculations, and you'll get them in the middle of the night like I see them with the descriptions and everything, instead of coming in the morning and getting them a little bit late. That's we got to stop that. We got to get them as soon as possible, especially with the volatility in these markets. 877-927-6648. Billy Ray is in the house.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. For free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
Markets can rise and fall like the tides. Subscribe to Basil Chapman's newsletter, The Opening Call, and you too can ride the wave. Basil Chapman is an authority in technical analysis. His Chapman Wave trading system has been helping traders identify trends and capitalize on momentum in the markets since 1984. TFNN invites you to test Basil's proprietary Chapman Wave trading methodology with a monthly subscription to the Opening Call newsletter for only $149. Your subscription to the Opening Call comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee, as well as daily market updates on key indexes, stocks, and commodities. Ride the wave. Sign up for the Opening Call risk-free today.
Introducing Primal Edge.
Today, it's even more important to take a supplement that complements your health. Primal Edge is specifically formulated to boost your immune system and help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Our early ancestors found all their nutritional requirements in the wild environment. But today, our food sources don't contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that we need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated humic and fulvic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They've been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, without them, life cannot exist.
That's right, Ellen. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge. Just $89 exclusively at TFNN.com.
Hi, folks. This is Steve Rhodes. Stay tuned for another great hour of The Trader's Edge, heard here at TFNN.com.
Okay, we're back, folks, and I posted the chart of the July hogs because we mentioned we were getting ready to go short these. You'll notice that it gapped up above the 1.27 today at 110.25, and we got as high as 112. This sets up a 1 point. I'm going to bring this up here because this is what we have to wait for. And that's why you wait. When you have a gap, you don't want to get involved with that. You'll notice here tomorrow we're going to be looking about another 1.5 higher. at about 113.52. Now that's where the fat lady's got the orchestra in the pit and the conductor is ready to go. So watch that at 113.33, and the stop on that would have to be about 2 points or about $800. But if it's right, it could have a really big move. That's a big ABCD, a 1.618 expansion, and the number of days up in the run between March and April equals to the one between April and early May here, what we're watching here in the hog. So that's a little down the road, but we wanted that's for future reference, of course. We haven't traded hogs for quite a while, and boy, they were good to us a couple years ago because we were below the cost of production down there around 50 when Mr. Z was so very, very bullish, and that was one of the reasons why we were really so heavily involved with it at that time. So let's pay very, very close attention to that. The importance of that gold today, hitting that, we were told today by Ruby, I believe, that gold hit the 200-day moving average there at 1798, taking out the high of the previous month by less than $1 at 17.99 and change, and now we're trading at 17.92. So it's going to be interesting to see, what happens with that one. Of course, keep in mind, folks, if we close really strong today in the Russell and the Nasdaq and all that reverses, that means that we're going to go higher. And you don't want to stand in front of it. Right now, those two indices, the NASDAQ and the Russell, are acting very poorly. You got to sell anything, sell those. Those are the ones that are the weaker of the group. So we'll see you on the flip side tomorrow, and may God bless.